might take a minute for people to get in here since I just clicked the button to start the stream, but that's okay. I wanted to start off today with something, an article I saw very early this morning. There's an interesting phenomenon going on, and it was actually happening before the big announcement for Joe Biden. And it has to do with gas. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? That's a teaser. I'm sure more people will come in by the time I start this. So why don't I just play the intro? Play the intro. Yeah, now. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PAWG Night. Yes, Queen. Stop the music. Good morning. Hi, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, me. Oh, I just said that. I'm Marty, also known as PAWG Night on the internet. And it is Thursday, 8/13. That would be August 2020, or however you say it where you are. Some people put the 2020 first. Some people put the month first. Some people put the date first. I don't care. It's August 13th, 2020. And welcome to the Morning Night Live. So this weird phenomenon that that was caught, somebody caught this. Oh, by the way, if you saw the thumbnail and you know what it is, put it in the chat, because that's something. If you know what that's from, put it in the chat, because that's what we're going to be talking about today, and that's why it smells like gas. That's your hint for the day, because apparently the Wikipedia page of, okay, now I'm going to mess this up because I don't know which is the proper way. And that's going to be the question of the day, because I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I've heard everybody say it a different way. But I'm going to say Kamala right now, because that was the last thing I heard that was correct. We'll get there. Yes, there you go, D.I. Freighter. You get the for getting the right answer. Yes, it's Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman in the movie Gaslight. And there's some gaslighting going on. I think there's going to be a lot of gaslighting going on from now until Election Day about the records of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, will there be gaslighting about Donald Trump's record? Depends on who you ask. I mean, certainly the media is going to be constantly talking about what they want to tell you about Donald Trump's record, because not everything's perfect, obviously. Now, but are certain things Donald Trump's fault? Like the COVID thing. Now that we know that it was probably in the country far before we actually knew it was going to run its course no matter what, no matter who's in the office, no matter what. And you know what? Stopping it, well, if you look at our numbers, the death per million, it's very similar to most of the other countries in Europe. So I don't know. It's, then plus we have governors who've done things, and some of the numbers are ambiguous at best as far as if they're real or not. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the gaslighting that they're going to be doing about Joe Biden's record. But in particular, over the next few days, Kamala Harris record. Okay, here's the question today. I'm going to say it three different ways because I honestly do not know now. Although I do know it's not Kamala, what's his name? Daniel Kamala, the Ugandan giant Harris, which is no relation to Kamala or whatever Harris, right? It's not that one. I'll give you that as one of the choices, but it's definitely not that one. It's not like Kamala, the Ugandan giant, or the Ugandan headhunter, a famed wrestling phenomenon, a very athletic, fairly obese man, but he was incredibly athletic. May he rest in peace, by the way. He just died a couple days ago. So here's the question of the day. You get answer one, Kamala, and if you answer question one, you're going to be wrong. Or is it Kamala, sounds like Pamela, but with a K? Or is it Kamala, like comma the punctuation mark with a la on the end? Kamala. Is it 1, Kamala? Don't answer 1. That's wrong. Kamala 2 or Kamala 3. I don't know. And I'm going to use this poll as how I say her name for the rest of the well, maybe I shouldn't do that because you might just fuck with me, but I don't know how to say her fucking name. Sorry. I just don't, because people say it different ways all the time. And there's a big hubbub yesterday. Tucker Carlson was all over the internet, or at least all over Twitter, because he said it. He said her name wrong the entire show, and it was so disrespectful. Really? Kamala. I didn't give you that choice, TC, but that's a good one. It's not Kamala. And it's not camel toe either. So they're bitching about Tucker Carlson saying it wrong. But then I went and listened to Joe Biden's speech where he was introducing Kamala, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And Joe Biden was saying it the exact same way Tucker Carlson was saying it. So I wasn't sure if maybe it was a different episode where Tucker Carlson was saying it wrong, or Joe Biden was saying her name wrong the entire speech, which would have been classic, but then again, it is Joe Biden. All right, before we get into that, though, I must say good morning to everybody. By the way, I do have my cup of reparations coffee and the new 2020 FFS cup. You can get at the PAWG store on the merch and that link down there. And it is delicious. If you have a cup of coffee with you, let's all take a sip together. That's good. And let's say good morning to everyone in the chat, because that's what I do every morning. First in the chat today was everyone's friend, Zero, my hero, who gets the bell. Also, good morning to CNN Sucks, the most redundant name on the internet. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning to Big Assassin 80. Hey, Larry. That's his name. Aloysius Fudpucker, good morning. Zombie Teddy, what's up? Who says dog? I'm the dog. I'm your dog, man. I'm your dog. By the way, does everyone here know how I got the name Lawyer Dog? That's just another nickname. I am Lawyer Dog on the internet, but I'm not a lawyer in real life. I only play one on the internet. That's a kind of a funny joke. I might tell that sometime. It's not a big deal, but anyway. Dark Isle, how you doing? DI Freighter Watcher, good morning. Good morning, King Slayer Damocles. Yo, yo, yo. Also, good morning to Makino Programmer, a new regular at the show. Good morning, Tyler F. Good morning. Yes, that's the name. Kamala Harris is a brutal enslaver, as is a ancestor last name Brown. Yes, she is a descendant of slaveholders, brutal slave owners. Good morning. I said Zombie Teddy already. Good morning. TC Ball, what's up? Good morning to Aaron Meredith, Anna Lynn, Cynical Lindsay. Good morning. Good morning, Gamer Valine. And I think people are just rolling in. Like I said, I started the stream almost immediately at the time of the start instead of setting it up early today. So that's why some of you might be just getting the notification. And like I said, if you need notifications that aren't, if you don't want to wait for the YouTube notifications, follow me on one of the social media posts up here, sites, Twitter, Minds, Gab, and Parler, because I always tweet those out. You'll get that notification right away versus necessarily waiting for YouTube. Although I went through my analytics and I am getting quite a few. A vast majority of my watchers are from the YouTube notification. Let's see. I know it's from Lord of the Night streams where cops refused to give someone a lawyer because he asked for a lawyer dog. Well, sort of. Sort of. Yeah. No, he was just saying, the dude's like, I need a lawyer dog. And that's where it came from. So they started calling me Lawyer Dog. Yes, it was that, King Slayer Damocles. Thank you for for knowing the answer. Somebody knew the answer. That's awesome. Also, good morning to Renee Mayette, Chicago Mike. And let's see. All right. I saw a Twitter account called Republicans for Biden try to defend Kamala. I was like, you do realize this is the same person who said they signed an executive order to ban assault rifles, right? Yeah, well, look, the Lincoln Project gang, the Republicans for Biden gang, you know, the all the same people. It's kind of weird. Their consistency on some things just isn't there, but it's all about never Trump. So anyway, all right, let's get into this one though. Let's get into it. So this fit on the page here. Let me see, make sure this fits on here. All right, it does. Good. So about this gaslighting thing, you know, now, if you're not familiar with the term, you probably all know what the term gaslighting is. It's from the movie Gaslight, right? Where the guy is trying to make the woman think she's nuts, that everything she believes doesn't happen. It just trying to make her think she's nuts. And well, apparently there's a war going on over Kamala Harris's Wikipedia page, with all the unflattering elements just poof, going away. Good morning, Trideos. I love to see that you're here again more often. You were one of my early followers too on this show, and so it's good to see you back. Good morning, Sean DW. P-Dog made a P-Dog. Sean says P-Dog made a spelling mistake in the title. Smells like ass. Fix it for you. No, smells like gas was on purpose because we're talking about gaslighting today. In recent presidential cycles, the velocity of edits made to Wikipedia page have correlated with the choice of vice presidential running mate. California Democratic Senator Kamala. Okay. Oh wait, did anyone vote on this yet? Let's see. I got 2, 3. That's only 3 votes. Maybe I should do this again. So the question is, because I still don't know if I'm saying her name right. Okay, let's give you just 2 choices. We already know it's not Kamala, like Kamala, the Uganda giant. Rest in peace, Daniel Harris. No relation to the Kamala. This Harris. I'm just going to say this Harris for now. So, choices. Is it Kamala Harris? Kind of sound like Pamela. That's... Put 2 in the chat. Or is it Kamala, like a comma, the punctuation, Kamala Harris? Put 3 in the chat. Kamala 2, Kamala 3. And then I'll try to say it the right way for the rest of the day. So get your votes in now, please. Get your votes in now. Good morning, Maddie. Also, House of Geek. Nice to see you. All right. So Kamala Harris, widely seen as a front runner for a spot on the ticket with presumptive nominee Joe Biden with vetting well underway. So this is from July 2nd, but this has been happening since July. Presidential vetting operations have an entire team of investigators, but for the public, when the pick is announced, the most common source for information about the person chosen is Wikipedia. And there, a war has broken out over how to talk about Harris's career. At least one highly dedicated Wikipedia user has been scrubbing controversial aspects of Harris's tough on crime record from her Wikipedia page. Oh, great. Good morning, Aloysius Fudpucker. Her decision not to prosecute Steve Mnuchin for mortgage fraud-related crimes, her strong support of prosecutors in Orange County who engaged in rampant misconduct, and other tidbits, such as her previous assertion that it is not progressive to be soft on crime. Now, that could prove unflattering to Harris as the public gets to know her on the national stage. The edits, according to the page history, have elicited strong pushback from Wikipedia's volunteer editor brigade and have drawn the page into controversy. Though it's a fight, the pro-Harris editor is currently winning. Now, and I'm still worried. Good morning, Kyra Alexander. In 2016, The Atlantic published an article about Wikipedia edits and how a burst of activity could foreshadow Hillary Clinton's vice presidential pick, noting that Virginia Senator Tim Kaine's page had seen significantly more edits than any other candidate in the weeks leading up to the announcement. Wait, what? Read WP own page on Wikipedia and then commute the people that can sell or trade for favors or whatever these ownership accounts of Kamala's, whatever's page. Interesting. The article also cited a 2008 Washington Post report about Sarah Palin's Wikipedia page seeing more than 65 edits in the hours leading up to John McCain's announcement. Last month, a Reddit user remembered this Atlantic piece and wrote a Jupyter script to see which 2020 vice presidential contender had the most edits in a span of 3 weeks. Harris had 408, Stacey Abrams had 66, Senator Elizabeth Warren had 22, and Senator Amy Klobuchar had 4. Another Redditor pointed out that a majority of Harris's edits were coming from a single person. So I wonder if that person is related to Biden's campaign. Now, wouldn't that be interesting? Harris has been working to distance herself on the national stage from her prosecutorial record in California, which has increasingly become a political liability. While taking a lead on Democratic police reform legislation after the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, during the 2020 Democratic presidential primary, she branded herself as a progressive prosecutor and shifted left on issues like healthcare and climate change. But the most drastic gap is between her current messaging on crime and her past. Good morning, Kevin S. How you doing? A section in her bio that, by the way, Kevin S., thank you for commenting when you're not here live. I appreciate that when you comment in the comment sections. I absolutely do appreciate that. A section in her bio that detailed her decisions not to prosecute Mnuchin for financial fraud despite recommendations from her staff attorneys has also been deleted. Now, wonder why that is. In 2013, Harris did not prosecute Mnuchin's bank, One West, despite evidence suggestive of widespread misconduct, according to a leaked memo. In 2017, she said that her office decision to not prosecute Mnuchin was based on following the facts and evidence, like any other case. In 2016, Mnuchin donated $2,000 to her campaign, making her the only 2016 Senate Democratic candidate to get cash from Mnuchin. But as senator, she voted against the confirmation of Mnuchin as Secretary of the Treasury. Wow. A section on the Ethics Committee finding Harris guilty of a campaign spending violation during her San Francisco district attorney race has also been deleted. I'm sorry. Whenever they talk about her time as the San Francisco district attorney, the only thing I can think of is Willie Brown because of a joke that the Ranting Monkey said this morning that I really don't want to think about. Oh, God. Having to do with the olfactory senses in nearing someone's pelvic region. Anyway, a line about Harris traveling to Israel and the West Bank in November 2017, where she met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, was removed altogether. The Wikipedia user, who goes by BNYunin1114, has made hundreds of edits to Harris's page throughout the last several months, often getting into fights over the proposed edits with other Wikipedia editors who pointed out that the language was getting pulled directly from press releases and campaign literature. Who knew? Who would have thunk it? What a coincidence. You seem to have gone through a database of press releases from Harris's office, cataloging every single one and adding it to the article, one Wikipedia editor said. That is not how we write encyclopedic articles. On June 11th, Wikipedia user removed this section referencing the Orange County scandal from the page, saying that they were proofreading for length. Oh, really? Really? Here's the quote. Later that year, Harris appealed a judge's order to take over prosecution of a high-profile mass murder case and to eject all 250 prosecutors from the Orange County District Attorney's Office over allegations of misconduct by Republican DA Tony Rackauckus. Rackauckus? Something like that? Rackauckus? I've heard... Nope, I'm not going to say it. It's too easy. It's too easy! You know who else can rock a caucus? Anyway, stop it. Rackauckus was allegedly to have illegally employed jailhouse informants and concealed evidence. Harris noted that it was unnecessary to ban all 250 prosecutors from working on the case, as only a few had been directly involved, later promising a narrower criminal investigation. The U.S. Department of Justice began an investigation into Rackauckus in December 2016, but he was not reelected. In her first bid for public office, Harris embraced a tough-on-crime approach in the San Francisco District Attorney race and unseated Terrence Hallinan, who was considered one of the most left-wing politicians in the country. Under Hallinan, the District Attorney's office focused on rehabilitative justice initiatives instead of incarceration, which led to the lowest felony conviction rates of any county in California. Interesting. That is, I did not know that. And that's, you know what? I don't mind that kind of reform at all. That sounds awesome. If it works. It doesn't always work. You still got to get rid of the criminals. But anyway, while campaigning in the Mission District, San Francisco Weekly reported at the time, Harris slammed Hallinan for failing to prosecute anti-war protesters for property destruction. Oh my God. Is that why they're ripping this out of her Wikipedia page? Holy shit. On June 8th, the Wikipedia user removed this quote from the page, saying that the changes made were minor edits for length. In a paragraph about Harris announcing a new state law requiring law enforcement agencies to collect statistics on how many people are shot, seriously injured, or killed by police officers throughout the state, the user removed the following sentence, quote, Harris was later criticized by criminal justice advocates for her measured approach. Now, why would they take that out? Oh, it's because they don't want anyone to think she was ever criticized. This user also tried to make edits to the Bernie Bro Wikipedia page, a term that refers to the persistent myth that Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign had a monolithic base of support concentrated only among young white men. According to the user's edit history, they tried to remove a paragraph explaining that although Sanders' base skewed white in 2016, the Vermont senator actually had the most diverse base of any of the Democratic presidential candidates. Harris's most fervent online supporters, or stans, called themselves the K-Hive. Oh, is that like the Bay Hive? Did they try to make her be like Beyonce? By the way, did any of y'all see the press conference that Biden and Harris did? It wasn't really a press conference. It was the big announcement, right? Her face is starting to get back to normal from that whatever she did that made her look like Jack Nicholson in the old Batman movie. But anyway, though members of the K-Hive are excited by the prospect of Harris, a daughter of Indian call center Indians, not casino Indians, and Jamaican immigrants, shattering another glass ceiling. They also cite her policy positions as a reason for their support. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Because you know what? They generally consider her background as a prosecutor to be a political strength. You know, maybe not. I don't know. Look, there was a big hubbub on Twitter also yesterday. And it was all over Twitter. There was some black conservative, conscious conservatives against black conservatives. Some of black Twitter was having the big controversy. Some of the right people were talking about her race because she's running as a black woman, which look, in America she's a black woman, but her mother's Indian, as in again. Call center Indian, not casino Indian. And her father's from Jamaica, although she is an American citizen. Some dummy was talking about, the 5-year rule, blah, blah, blah. No, she was born in the United States as long as the rules are the way they are now. If you are born on United States soil, you are an American citizen. Now, you can argue whether or not that makes sense from, plus her parents were actual legal immigrants. So it doesn't fucking matter. She's an American citizen. She's running as a black woman. But there's a big argument on whether or not her Indian heritage is key or if her black heritage, then a lot of black Twitters arguing about whether or not she's not African American, she's not ADOS or American descendant of slaves. You know what? That shit don't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. And I did make a joke about it on Twitter. In fact, let me show you I got a little creative yesterday. Remember when I said I was going to make a meme? I was going to make my own little meme about that. Well, I did make a meme about that yesterday, and let's see if I can find it. And some people found it funny. I thought it was funny because I'm a funny motherfucker. But so here's my meme from yesterday that I made because I promised I'd make one. And if I can find it, let's see. Here we go. This is. I told you I was going to do this, and maybe you find it funny, maybe not, but it just kind of fit. If you ask me. Joe Biden, you ain't black, because Joe Biden is the arbiter of whether or not you're black or not. But it was accompanied by my tweet, which says, seems to be an argument raging on Twitter, because everyone was arguing about this yesterday. Well, here's my take on whether or not she's black. But it's funny, because when she was sworn into the United States Senate, there was a huge deal about her being the first Indian American senator. I did it again. Senator. Wait a minute, but I thought she was also Jamaican or black or whatever, African American. But now everything's talking about her being African American, which doesn't mean a hill of beans to me. I don't care. Look, she could be. I wouldn't care if she was half Nigerian, half Irish, was an orphan who was in foster care on a farm until she was adopted by American descendants of slaves at 4 years old, and then grew up in a small Midwestern or medium-sized Midwestern town, and then went to a private university in the Midwest, and now lives in Minnesota. That makes no difference on whether I would vote for Biden and her or against Biden and her. I don't care what her ethnic or racial background is. It's irrelevant. The only things I care about are her ideas, her solutions, her, I don't know, things that, is she going to fuck up my life with some of the shit she does? That's what I care about. I don't give a shit. In fact, I don't even care that she's a she. I don't care if she has a she shed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Advocatus Diaboli, you saw what I did? See what I did there? I don't care if she was exactly like me, except with different genitals. Or even if she had the same genitals. That has nothing to do with whether or not I vote for Joe Biden. I want to see what they would do in office. Really, it's funny because it should, other than whether or not they're going to approve what the Congress sends them as laws, I want to know what kind of legislation they would approve of. And I want to know how they would deal with foreign policy matters, because that's what the executive branch does. And the executive branch is in judicial matters because they're the executive branch runs the Justice Department. So the color of her skin, or the fact that she went to Howard University, or was the same sorority as my mother, or that her skin has more melanin than Joe Biden's, or that she can complete a sentence better than Joe Biden, doesn't mean a shit to me. Just want to know what she would do. And I'm pretty confident I'm not too thrilled about what she would do, because she thinks, plus the other thing, now that she's Joe's running mate, she'll probably be president if they win sooner than later. And she has some really weird ideas about what the presidential powers are. She thinks that she can do everything by executive order. Remember, she was talking about when she was the campaigns for the primary. She was talking about, well, if Congress won't send me a assault ban weapon, I'll just do that by executive order. Oh, really? I think the Supreme Court might have something to say about that. Silly goose. Anyway, all right, real quick, thank you so much for Cynical Lindsay, Becca Farley, Renee Mayette, and those of you who have already shared the stream. I'm going to do my shill early because, I forget to do that sometimes. And I'd like to remind you that the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you like what we do or you figure it out sometime during the show, hit the like button, that little thumbs up down there below the screen, and if you'd be so kind to share the stream out, hit the share arrow. You can send it out on social media or on Twitter, Minds, Gab, and Parler. If you want to just follow me on one of those and retweet, repost, republish, or what is it called? Parler? Echo those. And then finally, if you want to do if super chats during the show or just to donate to the show, that's very helpful to me. I got to tell you, it is very helpful. Thank you to those who do that occasionally as you are able. This show is sponsored by viewers like you. Support the show with your donations and have your super chats read live on the show. You'll become a permanent part of this episode of the Morning Night Live. So thank you very much, those everyone, and also participate in the chat if you're able. I know some of you have to lurk. You're listening at work or listening while you're driving, but all of you in the chat, you make the show great too. Thank you. Good morning, Molly Mags. And did I say hi to Cairo? Hi, Cairo Alexander, if I didn't do that already. Cairo says, I worked at Powell's Chicken in Frisco, was very young. But anyway, they both used to come in weekly. Willie is the man. Her, not so much, even though she might be a man. Is that what that face surgery was? No, come on. Kamala's not a man. Willie is the man. You know what? Willie's a pretty interesting dude. Democrat, but boy, everyone loves Willie Brown. And he's partisan and all that, but I do respect the man. He's a pretty cool dude. Good morning, Becca Fairley. How you doing? And also select a boy.
Yeah, boy.
Whoa, it took a minute there. And something popped up over here. What the hell's going on? Anyway. All right. Let's move on. Now I didn't pull a lot of articles up so far. Oh, what's this? Thank you, Gamer Valine. Are you here, Gamer Valine? I don't know if you are yet, but you sent me something here. Florida not giving a fuck as usual. Here's an interesting article. I'm going to pull this up. This was not in the plan, but I want to see this. Gamer Valine says, Florida not giving a fuck as usual. Oh, dude, this is interesting. All right, we'll do a sidestep here and check out this article. Florida sheriff orders deputies not to wear masks, bans civilian masks from the office. Now I can already hear the whining, and just so you know, I did not make this decision easily, Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods said in a memo staff. Okay, now here's an interesting dynamic for you. Before I even read this article, I'm going to see if this comes up. So I understand mask mandates, and I understand that, for some certain businesses, requiring people to wear a mask and because of the health reasons, whatever, even though I'm not convinced that wearing a mask helps anybody, as long as you're maintaining social distancing. Like at work, we're required to wear masks when we're working close to people, but I'm rarely working anywhere near anyone, so it's okay if I have my mask off during those times. In a place, like a sheriff's office, especially in these times when you have people trying to burn down law enforcement buildings and creating havoc, I can understand why a sheriff or a police chief or somebody running a building like that may not wanting people coming in and out of the building wearing masks, because if they do something nefarious, you want to be able to identify them. And sometimes it's harder if people are wearing masks. So let's see if this is involved in this sheriff's decision. A Florida sheriff banned deputies from wearing facial coverings. Now, I'm not sure about the deputies, but I don't care. Anyway, a Florida sheriff barred deputies from wearing facial coverings in most work settings, authorities said Wednesday, even as the state continues to struggle with record-breaking coronavirus numbers. Really? Record-breaking for who? See, record-breaking, what is this from? Record-breaking numbers. What's the date? What's the date of this record-breaking numbers? Because their numbers have come down since, what's the date on this report? Hello? August 10th. So they said, for weekly hospitalizations, making one of the biggest coronavirus hotspots in the nation. You know that Florida still, deaths per million in Florida are still lower by like 5 times lower than New York, even with their record-breaking numbers right now. But anyway, let's go back to the other article. Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods insisted there's no conclusive evidence that wearing masks curbs the spread of the virus, despite explicit Center for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines saying just that. They still haven't changed their guidelines from, what was the date on that? I think it was like July 13th or 14th, something, and they still haven't changed it, saying that masks, the CDC website says that masks don't have what is this new too? I could click that. Maybe it is. Anyway, but just saying that. Now I can already hear the whining, and just so you know, I did not make this decision easily, and I've waited out for the past 2 weeks, according to a memo Woods wrote to staff provided to NBC News by the sheriff's office. We could debate and argue all day of why and why not. The fact is, the amount of professionals that give the reason why we should, I can find the exact same amount of professionals that say why we shouldn't. The policy applies to all 900 department employees, and Woods said his decision is final. This is no longer a debate, nor is it up for discussion, he wrote. Marion County, with a population of 365,000, is in the heart of Florida horse country. The county seat is Ocala, which is about 40 miles south of Gainesville. The city of Ocala has its own police force of about 300 employees, and about 1/3 of them being sworn law enforcement officers. The department, the second biggest policing agency in Marion County, has no policy explicitly mandating or barring mask use by employees, but it encourages officers and civilian workers to don facial coverings, an OPD spokesman said Wednesday. Sheriff Woods' directive carves out a handful of settings where masks would be required. Okay, where masks would be required, such as hospitals, nursing homes, courts, schools, jails, or a COVID-19 address alert from dispatch. So he is having them use it some places, okay? Woods anticipates pushback from the community and told employees to walk away from anyone criticizing his measure. If at any time you are confronted by an individual complaining, berating you, or just being a difficult individual, you will politely and professionally tell them, go fuck yourself right in the ass. Oh, no, he didn't say that. He said, He said, tell them I'm not required to wear a mask, nor will I, per the order of the sheriff, and then walk away from them, the sheriff wrote. From that point on, it will be my burden and responsibility to take care of the person and answer their problem, complaint, or their question. So, the policy would be in full force inside any sheriff buildings, and civilians coming into that office would be barred from wearing a mask. If that civilian doesn't want to go maskless, he or she will be asked to exit the building and leave a cell phone number so they can be called and invited back inside when a sheriff employee is free to meet with them. In light of, and here it is. In light of the current events, when it comes to the sentiment and or hatred towards law enforcement in our country today, this is being done to ensure there is clear communication and for identification purposes of any individual walking into a lobby, Woods wrote. All of our lobbies have glass barriers between you and them that the virus cannot magically go through. The local health department was not consulted by Sheriff Woods before he issued his anti-mask directive, a spokesman for the Florida Department of Health in Marion County said on Wednesday. Asked if the state health department opposed Woods' action, the agency rep would only say, quote, we recommend adherence to the state surgeon general's health advisory and the wearing of cloth face masks or coverings when unable to practice social distancing is an important part of that. So, okay. But now this is one of those NBC News stories. Is there any, do you think there's any agenda in this story from NBC News with the giant headline and all that? Don't you think maybe the reasoning behind this particular action maybe should have been in the first or second paragraph, and notice how the rationale did not show up until all the way down here where a lot of people would have already stopped reading? I must be pretty astute because I figured out the reasoning behind it before I even read the story. And that's why you like me. You really like me. Throw something in the tip jar. All right. Let's move on to some other things that we can talk about. So apparently Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris because she's ready to lead on day one. Say what? Wait. She's ready to lead on day one? That's interesting. Joe Biden, the Democratic Party presumptive nominee, said on Wednesday that he selected Senator Kamala Harris, Democrat from California, as his running mate because she is ready to lead on day one. I'm hang on. Who's on the top of the ticket here? The remark comes as Americans continue to doubt his mental fitness. This is a Breitbart article, by the way. And overall ability to lead, with the majority of likely voters indicating the belief that his running mate will take over during the first term. There were some other things that press conference. Look, I would go through that press conference, but I'm not going to because plenty of other people have already done it. And in fact, so a lot of you guys watch Ranting Monkey with me. If you look at this morning's Monkey in the Morning on the Ranting Monkey channel, Monkey and Jack Cochran watched Biden's announcement or most of it, and most of Kamala's, Senator Harris's announcement. And pretty much everything they said is something that would have come out of my mouth. I think sometimes we're the same person, I have more melanin. But anyway, so if you want to watch it, go watch his analysis from this morning. It's the first part of Monkey in the Morning, and then they ramble off into some other stuff. It's all the same shit I would have said, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so he said, if Kamala Harris and I are, he also tweeted, if Kamala Harris and I are elected, we're going to inherit multiple crises, a nation divided, and a world in disarray. We won't have a minute to waste. That's exactly why I picked her. She's ready to lead on day one. Now, his statement that Harris is ready to lead on day one drew mockery from critics. Of course, there's mockery from critics. Laughing my ass off. Joe Biden's pitch to America is vote for me. My VP will take over soon, one user said. At least you admit, unwittingly, that she'll be in charge from on day one, another added. She'll be the one leading, another quipped, not you. Biden's pitch for Harris follows a Rasmussen poll released this week, revealing that the majority of likely voters do not believe Biden will serve all 4 years if elected. And then Kamala Harris will be doing a lot of executive orders. Anyway, 59% of likely voters indicated that it was likely that Biden's running mate will take over before his terms end. Why did I don't necessarily believe that. It's possible, and clearly you can see just even the speech yesterday. Biden started out pretty strong, read the teleprompter, sounded good, and then as the speech went on, he started speaking more slowly, and his words started slurring, and it was just weird. He wasn't, he couldn't finish words. Now, I'm one to talk or not talk sometimes because I don't always speak completely clearly, but I went through two of my great aunts, my grandmother, both my grandmother's two sisters and my grandmother all went through these stages. I've seen it three different people in person, because when my first aunt, when she started declining, they moved into our house with my parents and I and my sister. And then my second aunt, same thing, same decline, and she moved into, and then same with my grandmother. We've always taken care of our elders in my family. And I've literally seen the same pattern. Now, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just know what I've seen before. And I can't say for sure that it's just Joe Biden getting old. Older people talk slower anyway, for the most part. And they think they're very much more thoughtful of what they say. Sometimes I think maybe just because that's the nature of being old. You've already been through it. You just think about what you're going to say. But all the slurs, the mental gaps, it's very similar to my experience with those three members of my family. Good morning, Septus Wolf. Good morning, Chadwick Dupree, who just joined us. Straight Sith Mail, what's happening? And how many times will you step on a rake before you realize the handle keeps hitting you in the face? Yeah, it's just, it's really crazy. Anyway, the survey came as, this survey of, so 59% of likely voters indicated that it was likely Biden's running mate will take over before his terms end. The bulk of Republicans, 73%, as well as independent voters, 57%, said the same. Perhaps the most significant is the number of Democrats who hold the same view. 49% of Democrats believe it's likely that this scenario plays out, despite that only 45% of likely voters considered Biden's running mate selection as important to their vote. So, wow, because does that make Harris the best pick then for vice president? Does that help Biden or not? You got to remember, Harris was not getting any traction in the primaries, and then she dropped out before the Iowa caucuses. I mean, she dropped out before the first one. I made a joke about her coming in sixth or in the California primaries, but she wasn't. I mean, she was still on the ballot. She just, she was already dropped out by then. But, and another part of the announcement yesterday by Biden talking about how, she never gives up. Well, she gave up before the Iowa caucuses when she was running for president, for the nominee. So I don't know. Anyway, the survey came as Biden and his team continued to dismiss speculation of his purported cognitive decline. No, I haven't. Okay, this is just one of those clips that you got to see if you haven't seen it.
To President Trump, who brags a cognitive
No,
test.
I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know. The other thing that happens occasionally, though, with people who are going through this is occasionally people, they tend to snap at people. And again, both my great aunts and my grandmother went through this. And there were times where it's because of their frustration with any questions regarding what is happening with them. And so they, when they get frustrated because they forget things that they really should be easy to remember. And then when you ask them about it, they get very frustrated, very touchy about that. And so they tend to snap at people. And you see that with Biden. Now, you also see that with Trump. But Trump has done that for the longest time. He's never liked people questioning him. Okay? People who he sees as disloyal, he gets that irritation, but not in a forgetful necessarily way, not like with Biden. So anyway, that was one interesting one. Let's see, what else do we got today? I got all kinds of stuff. People are still talking about this fucking coronavirus thing. And, some site was talking today about America has the most cases by far, and then the most deaths, numerically the most deaths. Yep, we do. Do we have the most deaths per million? Nope, not yet. Not even. You're still down on that list, down 10th, below most European countries, and Chile. Now Chile has their death per million count has gone up significantly. What is this? I had another notification. Oh, I got it. Oh. Oh, this is just funny because we have pandemic hurricane season, and Floridians with zero fucks given. So there you go. Out in the hurricane with the pandemic. Thank you, Gamer Pauline. That's very funny. All right, let's see what else we got here. I've got several. The other one too. There's the Bernie spokesmen are not happy with the Kamala Harris pick. Huh. Go figure. What's going on in the background here? Oh, there it goes. Oh, there it comes. I should have done one of those Hillary things. No, I didn't see it coming. Anyway, former Bernie Sanders spokesman apparently not happy. Not happy at all. Great deal of frustration over the Biden-Harris ticket. Is there trouble in paradise? There's a great deal of frustration over the Biden-Harris ticket. Breonna Joy Gray, former National Press Secretary for Senator Bernie Sanders, said during a Democracy Now! Interview on Wednesday. While Gray acknowledged Biden's selection as historic, she pointed to the current political and cultural environment, suggesting that neither Biden nor Harris meet the moment. Now, before I even go there, I'm going to say this again, too. Why in the hell would Bernie Sanders pick someone from a state that he needs no help whatsoever in, and who is no longer all that popular in her home state? I'm not confident that Kamala Harris wouldn't be beat with even a decent challenger to her Senate seat. But Biden need, seriously, I keep thinking about this. When you pick, let me pull this off the screen for a second. So you would think, Joe Biden, East Coast, I don't want to call him an East Coast liberal. He's an East Coast Democrat, okay, with a 50-year career in politics, been around forever, always kind of known as a moderate, but all the Democrats now are calling him malleable, like Mila Jayapal calls him malleable, thinks they can just pull him to do whatever he wants, right? And they picked the right person to pull him as a vice president candidate. No pun intended. Anyway, why would he pick someone from California? Does he need help, California? Does Joe Biden need help getting votes in California? You would think in one of those swing states that they lost to Hillary Clinton's deal, the states that she didn't campaign in, and Trump ended up winning them, like in historic fashion. You would think he would pick someone from one of those states just to get help. That's it. I think the governor of Michigan's moron, but didn't Trump win Michigan? Did Trump win Michigan? I think so. You're not sure? Didn't Trump win Michigan? Why not pick the moron from Michigan? What's her name? Whitler or whatever they call her. At least that might help you in Michigan, a state that you're not as likely to win. Or was the governor of Wisconsin? Nah, well, that's not a woman. Oh, that's right. He was limiting himself to women. And so let's see. Yeah, Rice, not a good choice. Wouldn't help him anywhere. Who else did he have? Women. Senator Warren, Massachusetts. No, that's not going to help him there. Bass. No, Bass ain't going to help him. She's in California anyway, too. Who else would he choose in? Oh, Stacey Abrams. State Senator Stacey Abrams. By the way, I just really would have loved to have been in the room wherever Stacey Abrams was yesterday. I would have loved to have been in the room when Joe Biden was making his speech. And then Kamala Harris was making her speech. I would have loved to be in the room with a phone or a video camera or something on the face of Stacey Abrams. Can you imagine? Remember when she was on that show with him and they were talking about, could this be a big announcement today? And Stacey Abrams was all smiles. And as Joe Biden began to talk and it became apparent that she wasn't going to be the nominee or this vice president choice, and she kind of turned to this. Imagine what she looked like yesterday. Abrams is still shilling for cash on YouTube. Yeah, that whole situation, she should be the governor of Georgia right now because there was voter suppression. Bullshit. Look, Georgia had almost record voter turnout for a governor's race when she ran against Kemp. And she lost by 50,000 votes with high voter turnout in Georgia. She's not the governor of Georgia. Stop pretending that there was that much voter suppression. Remember, it was almost a record turnout in the governor's race in Georgia. All right. Anyway, so let's get back to the Bernie bros or Bernie babes or whatever you want to call them. Is that sexist? I don't intend it to be. I just was trying to think of a synonym for a female Bernie bro. So no disrespect to the ladies. Okay. All right. There's a great deal of frustration over the Biden-Harris ticket. Brianna Joy Gray, former National Press Secretary for Bernie Sanders, said during a Democracy Now! Interview. While Gray acknowledged Biden's selection as historic, she pointed to the current political and cultural environment, suggesting that neither Biden nor Harris meet the moment. And here she is, Brianna Joy Gray, producing some salt.
I think there can be no doubt that, of course, this nomination is historic. But something else historic is going on right now, which is that we are in the middle of the largest protest movement in American history. And it's a protest movement that's
during a pandemic.
Doubt that, of course, this nomination is historic. But something else historic is going on right now, which is that we are in the middle of the largest protest movement in American history. And it's a protest movement that's all about finding non-punitive, carceral solutions to the kinds of economic problems that are plaguing disproportionately Black and brown communities, but all Americans, especially right now in the middle of this additionally historic global pandemic.
Oh, she did mention
and so there's a great deal of frustration that there is this choice not only to nominate a candidate who is known as the author of what is actually called the Joe Biden crime bill.
Oh, yes. Oh, somebody. Now, see, the Democracy Now! Will talk about her record and their record. See, because not too many people are going to be talking about their record. I don't know if this is going to work.
But that he's gone and also selected a running mate who is known for being the top cop from California, the state that has the second highest number of incarcerated people in America.
Now, I'm going to stop there for a second again. Somebody made a good point about this yesterday, because there are Republicans and people on the right, conservatives, whatever you want to categorize them as, who have been talking about her record as far as incarcerating people, whatever. And on the same side, her normally law and order types that you would think would, appreciate her record of the law and order when she was the Attorney General in California. But I don't think there is, I don't think that's really truly being hypocritical, because her record as the Attorney General in California is not about her putting people in jail. It's about her unethical treatment of the law. For example, when she denied someone who was on death row, a stay or whatever they do, because they were somebody's hiding evidence, and there was exculpatory evidence against this person, and she refused to let this person go. And the courts had to do it. The courts had to. She didn't push for it. She had the courts pushing for it, or keeping people in jail longer than maybe necessary because they were doing work for the state. So it's not that the law and order part. And also, now that she was one of the big enforcers of marijuana laws in California, and then she does an interview, she says, "Oh yeah, I smoked weed and I was listening to Tupac and Snoop." We've known that story. So it's not necessarily her law and order background that's wrong. It's the hypocrisy of it, right? And also, then when you contrast that to the fact that you got Joe Biden, who wrote the 1994 crime bill, which, at the time, even the Congressional Black Caucus supported that. It was a very different time, but it also caused increasing mass incarceration, not just for Black people, but a lot of Black people were affected, but for everybody, based on a lot of the drug laws. And also, Kamala Harris was also a big proponent of civil asset for forfeiture, for example. And she was taking people's civil assets sometime before they're even charged with anything. So her record doesn't look good to people, and it's fine to criticize that and still say that you don't want people rioting, looting, and murdering. That law enforcement's important. And also, again, here's another ad for Donald Trump. Joe Biden wrote the 1994 crime bill. Kamala Harris put many people in jail for minor crimes and kept them there as long as she could. Donald Trump led criminal justice reform that led to the First Step Act, which let people out, which gave people clemency for minor crimes that they spent too long in jail for. That's the ad. Record versus record. Now, the media doesn't want you to hear that record. That guy editing Kamala Harris's Wikipedia page, they're trying to gaslight you. Smells like gas. Let's hear the rest of what Miss Brianna Joy Gray says.
And moreover, Kamala Harris is someone who has had these criticisms leveraged at her throughout, very early on, at the start of her campaign. And to many people,
Tulsi Gabbard ripped her a new asshole.
Has done very little to assuage people's concerns about her previous stances, or
that's because they're not going to tell you about them
that we would like to see. So I think that to the point that Ms. Allison was making about whether or not that Black voters in swing states are going to be more inclined to turn out, what we saw from poll after poll is that Joe Biden had the base locked down, and is often celebrating the fact that Black voters overwhelmingly voted for him. So it's not clear to me what the electoral...
Well, that's because if you have to decide between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, you ain't Black. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted her again.
...value of this is when you contrast that, especially with the fact that younger voters in particular and swing voters are less enthusiastic about this campaign, in part because they were looking for a kind of fundamental change in this campaign cycle, a desire that was only exacerbated by the health crisis and economic crisis that we're in now. And Joe Biden has articulated very clearly that he is the candidate who promises that nothing will fundamentally change.
Yeah, see? And that's not good, Joe. Joe, nothing's going to fundamentally change. You know that, I'm sure that particular line that came out of his mouth, that's probably going to disappear from the internet too, right? So anyway, yeah, the Bernie bros aren't happy. The Bernie gals, the Bernie whatevers, the Bernie army, okay? The Bernie army is not exactly excited about Kamala Harris. Speaking of Representative Jayapal, she thinks that Joe Biden could be movable. Progressive Representative Jayapal dubs Joe Biden movable, brags that he's been pushed further left. Fantastic. What the hell? There we go. Washington Democrat Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who proposed House Democrats' single-payer health care bill, celebrated Monday that former Vice President Joe Biden has shown he will be malleable in promoting the far left's agenda in the White House. Great. Maybe we can cut funding for all the police all over the country. We were able to push Joe Biden to do things he hadn't signed on to before, Jayapal said in a Comedy Central episode of The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. He is movable. Now, I'm not going to... Daily Show's a little bit sensitive about showing their clips, so I'm not going to show theirs. But anyway, this guy says Joe Biden surrendered to... Oh, my first super chat of the day. I thought it would never happen. Thank you so much, Gamer Valine. I love you. Did I go overboard on that? Gamerfully donate $5.56, which is a significant number in the world of armaments, who says that's the one thing about Biden I kind of understand. The section has created mandatory sentences, was well intentioned in the original draft to eliminate district sentencing variants, but implementation screwed it up. The tack on the bill, then tack on the bill writers. You're talking about the crime bill. Yeah, it just the implementation kind of did some weird shit. But anyway, I never put this on the screen. Thank you, Gamer Valide, for the first super chat of the day. You are the star of the day. I'm going to change that from today's top donor to the star of the day. You're the star of the day. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. So anyway, Giant Paul's optimism stems from the recently released Unity Task Forces agreement last month, where the Biden campaign joined forces with staff from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders to hammer out a new platform, reassuring the Democratic base of Biden's commitment to progressivism. I don't want progressivism. Sanders' staff clearly dominated the discussions, getting Biden to endorse free college. Oh, for fuck's sake. Citizenship for illegal immigrants. Oh, for fuck's sake. Threatening federal border agents. Oh, for fuck's sake. And pledging $2 trillion for a climate plan to achieve environmental justice. The agreement earned Biden praise from Sanders, declaring the 2020 Democratic presidential nominee would be the most progressive president since FDR. Great. The same FDR that prolonged the Great Depression. Fan-fucking-tastic. Biden then has become a Trojan horse candidate for the Democrats, masquerading as a moderate pragmatist on the basement campaign trail while putting one of the most liberal senators in Congress on the ticket. Now, okay, hang on. They can stop with that. Kamala Harris is not necessarily the most liberal senators in Congress, but she's an opportunist. So if something is popular at the time, then she will sign on to it. It doesn't matter whether it's progressive or not. Now, right now, you got all the people yelling in the streets for things that are the progressive things, right? And so she sees that, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm that." But she'll be whoever the audience in front of her wants her to be. So when she was talking in front of, or what was it, when she was being sworn into senator, oh, she's the first Indian American senator. But when she's announcing her for her run for the presidency, when she was trying to became a primary candidate in front of Howard University, then I am an African American woman. I was born an African American woman, and I will die an African American woman. So it's whatever the audience, she just molds and melds into, kind of like Hillary Clinton used to do. Oh, did I say that out loud? You did. I ain't always tired. What's something you always carry in your purse? Hot sauce. She's a panderer. She's a mega panderer. Now Biden is going to be, and then Biden's malleable. You got someone who's malleable and a panderer. Fan-fucking-tastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It is time for me to check today's news. The news of the day, anything. I'm just trying to find if there's anything new on the in the news section of the Twitter bot here, Twitter thingy, whatever it's called. Checking the new headlines, anything that might happen today. Do you want to know? I forgot. I was going to talk about the Michael Flynn case, but I don't have time. But here's some homework for you. Here's some homework because the full 11th Circuit, is it 11th? The D.C. Circuit Court, the full D.C. Circuit listened to the arguments in the writ of mandamus part of the Michael Flynn case, where where his attorneys wanted to force the judge to dismiss the case because the Justice Department wants to dismiss the case. The defendant's lawyers agreed that they are going to dismiss the case, and the judge has been interfering, right? And so they went to the smaller panel. The smaller panel ruled against the judge, and then he appealed it as if he's one of the plaintiffs in the case. He appealed it to the full circuit. Well, I don't have the time to talk about that, but if you're not familiar with Viva Fry, he's a Canadian attorney, but he does great videos on YouTube talking about a lot of cases like that. Go watch his video. That will absolutely, and I just put that in the chat, that absolutely will give you a good explanation of what happened yesterday. So if you're into that kind of stuff, and it's he summarizes what he does. He summarizes 4 hours of questions and testimony in about 10 minutes. So there you go. Maxwell's files were unsealed. I did not know that. Did that just happen? Well, let's check the news right now. Kamala's wagonist. Okay, this election is going to have the same end. Good Trump president, but still a shit show because the Dems will never again pretend to be in a country with you. I really now, most of you who have been here for a while know that I did not vote for Trump in 2016. I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. I was just, in 2016, I was hell no to both of them because I never Trump, never Hillary. I didn't want either of them. I voted for the sweet meteor of death. If you want to find out about that, go way back into my videos log. One of the first 5 or 6 videos I did, I talked about the 2016 election and who I was voting for. And I literally did vote for the sweet meteor of death. I wrote it in. And if you're not familiar with the sweet meteor of death, go follow the sweet meteor of death on Twitter. Very funny account. But I don't want Democrats in control of anything considering what's going on in the country right now. I honestly think they will make it worse. It's not that I would never vote for a Democrat. I have voted for Democrats in the past for various things, especially local things. Like our city council, for example, is nonpartisan, and I know for a fact that like at least 3 of them are Democrats. And I voted for them because they're great for our city. I don't mind. Again, and I live in a suburb. It's a little different than being in a city. So it's there's not a whole lot of ways they can fuck up your life. So although they have some power to do it, but ours do not. But I really don't want the Democrats, at least in this stage in our country's history, to be in power. I just don't. And so I probably will vote for I don't even feel bad about it. I probably will vote for Trump. I think I've just decided that because I do not want the guy who has a hard time staying awake or at least talking for more than 7 minutes and miss executive order. Doesn't matter what the Congress does. I'm going to do whatever I want. They call Trump a dictator. Do you see what she was talking about? How she would, if Congress doesn't do what I want, I'll just do everything by executive order. She's folded a pen, and I'm pissed off that Trump did that the other day. I'm not happy about that executive order with the relief, but at least that's some relief that they're going to eventually vote on. Other presidents have done on shit that they had no business doing executive orders on, and the Supreme Court had no business not striking down. DACA, that was clearly legislation written straight out of thin air by a president. The Supreme Court should have knocked it down immediately. That's a law that requires appropriations. straight out of thinner. The changes in the ACA, those were budget items that a president should not be able to change without congressional voting on it. And Trump's same thing. This last executive order, that should be strictly the purview of the Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. They need to hammer it out and put it on the president's desk as a law. Again, but I understand the politics behind it right now. Probably was a good move. It's forcing the Congress and the House and the Senate to get their asses back to the table, even though the House has said, fuck it, we're not coming back till September 8th. But they need to get their asses in gear and figure out what they're going to do. Anyway. All right. What was I going to do? I put that link for Viva Frei. Right-click that, save it, watch it later. He does a great explanation of that. Let's check the Explore tab and then get out of here. Big news right now. Bill Gates on vaccine, 5G conspiracy theories, and hydroxychloroquine. Is Bill Gates a doctor? Those are two of the three there are not within Bill Gates' expertise. Bill Gates, the Microsoft co-founder and billionaire philanthropist, has become, for better or worse, a central character on the story of COVID-19. Our interview with him on COVID vaccine testing, vaccine timing, hydroxychloroquine, and 5G conspiracy theories. Well, what is that? Oh, this is business. Okay. It's Business Week, a Business Week article. No, it's a Bloomberg article. I'll have to read that later, but yippee, yay, get to know what Bill Gates thinks about it. Bill Gates is smart. He's got a lot of money, but I don't care what he thinks. Just don't. I just don't. Although, granted, he has, he's funding a lot of research on the virus vaccines and shit. You know what? I don't care. What else is in the news? Cruise ship owners left thousands of workers adrift for months, according to the Wall Street Journal. A coronavirus pandemic hit the cruise industry early and hard, long after passengers were let off the boats. Thousands of employees were still stuck far from their homes around the world. That's interesting. I didn't know about that. That's a Wall Street Journal article. Interesting. Let's see. I'll just read a couple tweets on this. We were in danger and we were told nothing. 125,000 cruise crew adrift at sea as COVID-19 cut through their ranks on ships with limited onboard protections. One day after the Ruby Princess let sick passengers disembark in Australia, the ship threw a big party for its crew. Within weeks, more than 200 crew members were infected with COVID-19 and about 1,000 local cases were traced to the ship. Did any of them die? How many of those 200 cases die? See, that's what they and I'm sure it might be in the article, but is that a scare tweet? Okay, about 200 members were infected. How many of them are no longer with us? Because the death rate right now is about, what is it 0.3%, something like that, or is it 3%? No, it's not 3%. It's like 0.3%. So how many of those two? I don't care about the cases anymore. Okay. In the United States, we have the most cases in the world. We have some of the highest amount of testing per capita in the world also, except for these little places, little places where they can test everybody. We also do not have the highest death rate in the world. I'm tired of hearing about us having the most cases. We've done 67 million tests in the United States. We're going to find more cases. Are they asymptomatic cases? Are they low symptom cases? Are they heavy symptoms cases of people who recovered, or did they die? Per capita. That's all I care about anymore. They're using numbers to try to scare you. All right, moving on. What else is new? Let's see. Today's Black Women's Equal Pay Day. Oh, wage gap. If you want your Equal Pay Day to come earlier and earlier, or later and later, because they say this is a white man only has to work this far to for a black woman to make that money for the rest of the year. I think that's how they calculate it. Here, let me click that and see what it says. More than 1 in 3 black women are on the front lines of the pandemic, but they aren't even close to equal pay. Okay, let me ask you this. Are those black women on the front lines in the pandemic making the same wages as all the other people in the same line in the front of the pandemic? If black women earn 62 cents for every dollar earned by white men. Okay, how about in the exact same profession, same education, same tenure? How about that? The $62 over the nation? Well, what? How many hours? And working the same hours too. Okay. Today, Black Women's Equal Pay Day, the symbolic date for how far black women have to work into the new year to earn the same pay as white men earned the previous year. I wonder, I'd love to know the average hours worked, or okay, so whoever this woman is in this picture, looks like she works at a deli or a grocery store or something, right? Does the white man working next to her make the same pay for the same hours? That's all I care about, okay? Because these wage gaps by a group over an average, you're never going to be equal, right? How? And also, why are we comparing these people to white men? White men don't make the most money. They don't. Why would you compare? Why compare them to something that's not the most? What? I want to hear what black women earn for every dollar earned by Indian men, Indian Americans, like, again, call center Indians, not casino Indians, or Asian, East Asian men, or Nigerian American men, or Jamaican American men, because all of those earn more than white men on average. So why are we comparing them to like number 5? Why don't we compare them to number 1? Oh, wait a minute. Silly me. Silly me. Why do I even... That's a silly question. Because there's no agenda if it's against Asian men or Nigerian men or Indian men or anyone else. It's only white men. And you know what? I want to know if the black woman pharmacist who works in the CVS in the store down in this street, who works 51 hours a week, makes the same, and has been there 10 years. I want to know if that black woman pharmacist at that CVS makes the same as the white male pharmacist at this CVS, who works 51 hours a week and has been there 10 years. If those two make the same amount of money, we good. We're good. Okay? That's all I want to know. Or if the janitor, the white male janitor at the office building, downtown Minneapolis, makes the same amount of pay as the black woman janitor at the office in downtown Minneapolis. If they make the same, because they've been there the same amount of years, same benefits, same pension or whatever, we good. This number right here don't mean shit. Moving on. Anything else? What else we got? Hong Kong. Oh, new unemployment claims fell below 1 million for the first time since March. Wow. That's good news. Last week, 963,000 workers filed first-time jobless claims, marking a 21-week economic milestone. Initial claims, 963,000. Insured unemployment was 15,486,000 for the week ending August 1st. Now, listen, But here's how CNN does it. Another 963,000 Americans filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week on a seasonally adjusted basis. Oh, they do mention it's the lowest number of weekly initial claims since the pandemic shut down the U.S. economy, so that's good. Even CNN could not say that. I bet if you read the article, though, it won't talk about that being a good thing that those claims are starting to come down. Oh, anyway, so... yeah, if you look up here, March 7th, it goes from 211,000, it came up to 5.2 million in April, and it's been steadily dropping ever since. So that's good. I mean, we still need to get people back to work, though. They're whatever. These governors need to get their shit together. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Belarus women dress in white to show solidarity with protesters. I don't know what they're protesting in Belarus. I'm going to skip that. Oh, they're the entire government. Didn't the entire government in Belarus resign for the most part? And now people are. I don't know what are people protesting about there. Hundreds of women, many dressed in white and waving flowers, lined the street in Minsk, chanting, "We are for peace." At least 6,000 people have been arrested in anti-government protest after Lukashenko won in the election in Belarus. Okay, it wasn't Belarus where they stepped down. Okay, I don't know what... I'm going to have to look that one up. I don't know a whole lot about that, so I'm not going to comment on it. And let's see. Anything else? Anything else new that people are going to be talking about? Take it easy, Renee Miette. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. Let's see. All right, let's see. Anything else? Let's see. Former Congressman Katie Hill on resigning from Congress, what she's doing now and what she'll focus on her new podcast. Does anybody care? It's in Business Insider. Business Insider is the kind of a left-wing business publication, if that isn't an oxymoron in itself. But anyway, there's a fast-moving wildfire that's forcing evacuations in Southern California. An evacuation center has been set up after a brush fire spread to 10,000 acres in a matter of hours near Lake Hughes in Angeles National Forest last Wednesday. That's not good. So we have another raging fire in California. It's summer. It's fire season. You got to be careful out there. So if you're in California, be careful if you're anywhere near that part of the country. And let's see. Anything else new? U.S. Air Force helicopter shot over Virginia. This was from yesterday. You might have heard about that too. If you hadn't, here's what it is. The helicopter made an emergency landing in Manassas, Virginia, where the pilot was brought to a hospital. He has been since been released. The FBI is investigating the incident. It was shot during a training mission over Virginia, injuring one crew member. The Air Force confirms initial findings are that an Air Force helicopter was struck by a bullet, resulting in a minor injury to an air crew member and damage to the aircraft while flying over Virginia in a training mission. I don't know why it was shot. It doesn't really say where the bullet came from yet. I'll check that one out later anyway. So anyway, that's it for today. That's the new news you'll probably be hearing about over the next 24 hours. You'll probably see some videos or things about those things. Everybody, thank you very much for being here today on the Morning Night Live. As you know, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for people in other parts of the world who do not adhere to American time zones. And that's funny. Before you go, please hit the like button on the way out or dislike Duck Dog. And if you'd be so kind to share the stream, hit the share arrow below, pop it out to your favorite social media, or you can do that on Twitter, Brian Scab, or Parler, or you can just follow me on those platforms and just do what I do and click the button and make it go again. That works too. And finally, if you'd like to be even more helpful to the dog, you can always throw something in the tip jar every once in a while. Donations through Streamlabs, through Venmo, through Cash App, and Streamlabs is where we do our super chats. For now, we're getting close to that 1,000 subscribers. We got about 160 to 65 to go. You could be instrumental in helping that too by sharing the stream out. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section. All right, I gotta go. because it's that time. Thank you, everybody, for being here one more time. My name is P Dog Night, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Night, and I'm out of here.